Well, between the stress of this weather coming up, and I don't know, solar flares, coronal mass ejections, and fun stuff, I think you need to be careful with your uh, keeping your optimism, I guess. So don't, and yeah, just resign yourself. You're going to have to be stuck at home maybe sometime Friday all the way through at least Monday. With cold temperatures, the salt won't work a lot. Now, they've revised some of these temperatures upward. On Sunday, it's 28. So that'll allow a lot more cleaning and plowing and stuff. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, we have 28 and 32 for the daytime highs. So the sun is starting to win the battle with the cold. But I think Weatherman Gene said, used to say something like that: when the days get longer, the cold gets stronger. So we certainly have an Arctic blast here with temperatures in the single digits, and anything below about 17, the salt doesn't like to work very well. So Saturday at least is going to reach 19 for a little while. Perhaps this is the Wrigley forecast, which is out of Jackson. Don't be trying to take a wiggly ride to Wrigley and measure the snow. But right now, and the forecast has been a little dynamic. Well, maybe look real quick at the hazard forecast. Hazard, Kentucky's forecast has been quite dynamic as far as the amount of snow, and they've added in some ice now, which reduced the amount of snow. But on the high side, if you want to be pessimistic about it, you got what, 4 and 11, 15 plus 9 is 24, 27 inches potentially at Wrigley. For the main part of this, we might as well just call it the snowpocalypse. Close by is Lytton, kind of on the other end of 7-Eleven, I think. Every one of these forecasts now has warnings about be prepared in case you become stranded. Otherwise, change your travel plans, by golly, to find a place to shelter in place with what you need. Flashlights and candles and battery banks, some kind of alternate heat source perhaps. Uh, know how to trickle or fast drip your water faucets so they don't freeze. I did see something the other day about draining your sprinkler systems, and I'm like, if you got that much money, you got sprinkler systems on the yard, you got more things to worry about. But yeah, drain your sprinkler systems. 7 to 11 inches, 15, the 15th, which is overnight, at Lytton, Kentucky. And if we add all this up, we've got what, 11 and 3 would be 14 and 9 is 23 inches, and another 3 would be 27 inches. So very similar amounts. For Lytton, Kentucky, that's also out of the Jackson forecast. Let's go up here to the junction, Flemingsburg Junction, not Petticoat Junction. And this is closer to the other end of the storm. So now they've revised that downward 1 to 3 inches on Saturday, 4 to 8 inches Saturday night. Temperatures a little bit colder the farther you go north. Up near the airport in Cincinnati. Next week, if there's any flight delays over the weekend, should be all cleared up, ready to go, with daytime highs approaching 30 by Wednesday. I think we've got one forecast that says 32 down our way. But yeah, 1 to 2 inches, and then 3 to 7 with a little lingering into Sunday. They don't bother giving an amount there. 70% chance. But that's Covington near the airport. And, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's go back up here. As I mentioned, the most dynamic forecast for the last several days has been Hazard. And they're on the north end of the ice. Maybe, at least is the way the graphics are going. Now, if you look at the forecast graphics, if you look at and that has been changed in just the last few minutes. They did say less than a half an inch of ice on Saturday night. Now they've taken the amount out, and they just have 2 to 4 inches, 90% chance, with Sunday's high now 36. How about that? Like I said, the hazard forecast, being very close to the Jackson Weather Service office, has been very dynamic. Tollsboro forecast comes out of Wilmington, Ohio, and small amounts of snow, smaller than perhaps Olive Hill, which comes out of West Virginia, the Weather Service office over there. Hey, look at that. Well, 30 for the high on Wednesday. And so they're revising that down. But now, if we look at the maps, the forecast maps, and we have, this feature on Weather for Us is a nice shortcut. You can see all this stuff on the internet from the National Weather Service. Solar flares causing some northern lights down to perhaps, or coronal mass injections down to the Great Lakes at the very least. You might be able to see with a camera in a dark area in Iowa and Chicago, perhaps. I don't know. Some parts of New England you might be able to see the northern lights off to the, just with a camera, probably not to the eye. Solar activity, fires. Where's the, UV index. That's been expanded since earlier this week. Down in the tropics in Florida, Texas, or Mexico. Where's my slides going to? Well, do I need to go the other way? I have to go back the other way. Nope. Okay. I noticed that it's been glitching, sending me into the black zone. There. Well, okay. Air quality. Some splotches in Pennsylvania and out west. I don't know if that's due to the forest fires of unhealthy for sensitive individuals, otherwise moderate. Current radar, national radar, current satellite, thunderstorm in the Gulf of America, or, well, close to the border with the Gulf of Mexico. Here we go. This is what I want to talk to you about, the maps. And, of course, today, nothing to fear, right? It looks snow all over the north, but then it starts to look bad. 7 a.m. to Friday to 7 a.m. Saturday. But then, it expands and comes all the way over to almost Massachusetts, as far as heavy snow, and then there's some overlap with the ice. It doesn't want to stay on that slide. Overlap with the ice that covers Kentucky, potentially, except for Covington, potentially, according to this map from National Weather Service and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. They have their seals on the bottom there. So pay attention to your local forecasts because they may be the most accurate. I don't know, these guys, there's a lot of meteorologists that work for the government, and then you've got all the TV stations and other media outlets taking their best gets. European models and different computer models all taking their best guess at this storm. So plenty of ice, plenty of staging of bucket trucks. Try to figure out when the storm is over, where do we deploy our resources?